Well, good evening. We're back on Virtual Pool 4 online, and we are covering some of the matches, not all of the matches that we can get anyway, in this year's Virtual Pool 10 Ball World Championships. And we've got the one match that I'd planned on streaming, which is the match between Larry and Bedhead, a first round match, race to 14. And since I planned that, there's actually a match going on at the moment, which is in the first round, I believe, and that's between Spin Master and Capsicum. And if we look at the bracket, we can see that their match started 2 hours ago, and they are pretty close here. Capsicum's leading by 11 racks to 10. When they started their match, I was at my dinner. Had I finished my dinner earlier and got here sooner, I'd probably had that one. But obviously, with it taking what's going to be over 2 hours, clearly it's going to overlap with the match that I had already planned. We've also got another match in the schedule for a couple of days' time. That's Senny and Real Poland Power in round 2. And we have another match that's going to be running at the same time as the match we're going to be watching, between Larry and Bedhead, and that's another match that's been scheduled for the same time, and that's between Romario and Tommy Yu. So while we're watching the Larry Bedhead match, we'll keep an eye on Romario and Tommy Yu. We can jump backward and forward between the two rooms from time to time just to see what's happening. That's what we're going to do. Larry has been in his own room for quite a while. He's been getting some practice in. Meanwhile, Bedhead has been sitting there in away mode, so he thinks he's more than ready, and we'll see whether that works out. We are streaming again, and we should be okay on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Facebook. And we should be about to go about another minute or so before the room goes up. Incidentally, yeah, Tommy Yu and Romario are both there. They're ready to go. So the two rooms should be going up. And we'll keep an eye on the bracket and see how Spin Master and Capsicum are doing. I'm saying these two players, judging by the fact that it's going close and it's taken certainly over 2 hours. I don't know what level these guys play at. I've never seen them, so I don't know whether we'll get to see them at some point in the tournament. Hopefully I will. So any second now. In fact, we've gone beyond the top of the hour, so the room should be going up. And we have the two rooms up. We've got Larry and Bedhead and Romario and Tommy Yu. Well, I'm going to dive straight in and get ready. In fact, what I need to do is go and get my bottle of water, because I've left beyond reach now. Let's have a look. Now, anybody who's on the stream, can you let me know that you're still hearing my voice? Because I actually just pulled my microphone cable there. And Bedhead's already in the room. So, again, I like to remind people, in case they've stumbled across the stream for the first time, 10 ball is a called shot game. The general rule in Virtual Pool 4 is all non-obvious shots should be called. That's banks and combos. And we are working on an alternate break rule, which is quite an important factor during the course of the match. Now, there is a 30-minute timeout for the match to start, but Larry's in, and I think that is Larry on the left. We will find out. We're going to lag off for the break. And Larry has played a pretty good one. Well, I presume it's Larry. And it isn't, it's Bedhead. I don't even recognise the cue. So Bedhead has won the lag. He's broke off. The 10 ball has gone down on the break. That will be respotted. Bedhead will remain at the table. Can you hear me okay, Potman? Just let me know if you can. Good evening and welcome. Good. I moved across to get my bottle of water and yanked my mic cable. I was just wondering whether the audio was goosed. Well, Larry's been at this for goodness knows how many years, as long as I have, and I keep saying he's yet to win one of these big tournaments. And unfortunately for Larry and Bedhead, the two of them have met again in the first round of the tournament. So something's got to give. Larry's got first bite at the cherry, but he's got big problems trying to find a way to that 2 ball at the top end of the table. Let's check my little doodle's working. And we're okay there. Well, he's got a very thin cut, extremely thin, and got no control over where the cue ball's going to end up. He's going to bound to run into something, but he's decided it's not worth the risk. And he's got the cover. Now Bedhead can get the very thin left edge of that too. He doesn't want to bank it out. He wants to just try and feather it. And try and get cover, and he's played that pretty good. As I said, for any of the latecomers, there's 2 matches. There's actually 3 matches going on at the moment. The match with whoever, what's his name, Capsicum, and I can't remember the other guy's name, Spin Master. The 2 of them started 2 hours ago. They're getting to the business end of the match. We've got the Romario Tommy Yu match that started at the same time as this. So the plan is just to check the bracket, see how the scores are going, and maybe have a quick drop in on the Romario Tommy Yu match, just depending on how this match is going. We'll keep an eye on it. Now, Bedhead's got a hook to deal with. Fairly straightforward to jump the 9. And, well, if he's going to try and jump the 9 and cut that 2 to pot it into this corner, he's got a big risk of scratching here into that middle. He might just try and cut it into the middle. And that's what he's done instead. And it's going to run behind the 3. But another opportunity for a decent safety here. Plenty of cover behind the 7, the 6 and the 8. So if he can get that cue ball and try and get it down behind the 5, he would have a half decent safety. Just bank the 3 ball towards that top rail. At least that's what I'd be thinking of doing. I don't know how Bedhead's operating here. So remember, Bedhead won the lag, and that looks good pace. Bedhead won the lag, so he broke. So it's all about who can win the most racks against the break. And not a problem again for Larry to hit this 3, but he's not going to have any real control over the cue ball using the jump stick to kick the 3 or clip the 3. If he clips the 3, he's only going to push it towards the corner pocket, so he might try and come in behind the 3 and just ride his luck, because the 3 ball's going to come up this end of the table. Well, he's went to get the cut on it, but he's left it on. So this is as good a chance as any so far, and it's going to Bedhead. Looks fairly straightforward for the run out. As long as he gets, it's important he gets high enough. This is where it could go wrong. When he pots this 4 and 5, it's important he gets high enough up the table on this 6 to make it simple to get on the 7. He doesn't want to be cutting this 6 in like that. If he's cutting from this angle, things can go wrong. Now you see, he wanted that cue ball. He wanted that cue ball over here. Now this is where problems start. When you start nudging and running into the ball that's on next, you're relying on a break of the ball here to keep position. And he's gone to the far corner to hold it, and he's done pretty well. Again, he's still going to be running away. He's cutting this 7 a lot more than he would like, and it's still a problem for him here. And like I said there, from that 5 ball to the 6 was always going to cause a problem if he didn't get much straighter on the 6. And now he's out of line and looking for another recovery shot here. And now he has a problem. And this is where Bedhead, over the times I've watched him, leaves himself high cuts and difficult shots to keep runs going. And this is exactly what he's landed himself in here. And sooner or later, you just cannot keep potting him. And he's missed the 8. He's got the hook, but Larry will have no problem in potting the 8. Again, needing to be careful though. He can't control the cue ball, and it's just going to have the pace to come out, and that will do. So this is looking very likely that it's a rack that's against the break. And we can see where it went wrong for Bedhead. The important shot was always the 5 to the 6. Too much of an angle. He started going out of line, and then it just went from bad to worse. Very fine margins are going to make the difference here. But it's 1-0 to Larry. And now, can he capitalise on that bonus? And it doesn't look like it break-wise. So the 8 ball hidden behind the 9, that's some form of a combo. Bedhead has no shot in the 2. He's looking for somewhere to play a half-decent push-out. Well, he's going to have to get this right if he's going to run up that side rail. He's going to have to go right deep into the corner, because if he does that, he's going to leave Larry a cut into the left middle, so he's given up that idea. And now Larry has a choice here. There's a safety shot on, which is thin onto the one and send it there if you can. Cue ball there and down here. That is one option. I've also spoken about what am I talking about? Talking about Bedhead getting himself out of line and leaving very high cuts and difficult cuts. Larry's problem, I've always said, is reining himself in from going for shots that a lot of the times, in all honesty, probably shouldn't. Probably when there's an option of a better safety, he's always enticed into playing the attacking shot, and we'll see whether he does. But he's got a problem to deal with here. Now if he gets this right, he might be able to tuck that cue ball towards the 8 and 9. Well, that was unlucky. Of course, as long as the 8 and 9 lie up in that corner, they're blockers for the 6 and the 7 to that corner pocket. The right corner pocket, of course, is wide open, but it might be a little while before we get that far in this rack. And once again, a good opportunity here. Get that as thin as he can with a bit of help in right English and cut that one towards the 10. Get that cue ball maybe down here if he can. Anywhere in this corner would do. Now the 10s act as a stopper, and that will do it. I mean, there's an edge out of there showing, and it's a question of whether Bedhead is going to be enticed to go full-blooded here and try and cut this in. The one ball has come off the rail slightly, but at the same time there's an opportunity to kick the one up the table. And Bedhead has gone all out for it. Got a kiss on the 2. And unfortunately he's hooked himself behind the 3, but again out with the jump stick. Now if Larry had got that cut to the 10 ball there a little bit softer, the one ball wouldn't have come off the rail maybe as much, but it was difficult to judge playing it at distance. Now Bedhead, now I'm getting a little bit of lag running there when that ball was running. I never had that last night. Just a little bit of a pause there. But he's now got one of these shots that the trouble's not potting the 3 ball, the trouble's getting somewhere onto this 4. Trying to hold it, he's done pretty well. I don't know whether Windows is doing an update or something, but I just noticed that little pause while the ball was running there. So now the problems start. Now Bedhead straight away can drop behind the 6 ball here and play the combo onto the 8. But there's another problem with that shot though, is the fact that he just doesn't know where along that top rail the 6 ball's going to finish. Now you can try and get right behind the 6. And he's again going way too far, or he's not going far enough. You think he's looking to cut this into the middle. It's thin. Now this shot, he's going to have to dig in just to draw that cue ball to the side rail and just try and hold it for a sight on the 8 ball here. Just punch the 7 in and get a little bit of juice in the cue ball just to take it into the rail, and that will do it. Now there's another problem, avoiding the 9 ball. Now it's very tight to try and just squeeze behind that 9 and not move it too far. And he's managed to do that, no problem. By hitting that in at the right hand side of the pocket, kept it straight. And now pretty much dead weight on the 9. So this is going to be against the break as well. And it's going to make the match all square, 1-1. So this chance came about from Larry's safety. I mean, he played the right enough shot. If that 1 ball had stayed tighter to the top rail, Bedhead wouldn't have had a shot. But he took it well. And he's also got the 3 ball on the break. He's lying a shot in the 1. And the 6 ball also goes. Cue ball. Oh, well, there's a mistake. Always an issue. Coming off that side rail and across. Scratch is always a danger. Now Larry's just lining up where's the best place to get this cue ball for that 6. He's looking more inclined to try and find a shot between that 10 and 7. Now to me, that is the more difficult shot position-wise. If he's going to draw down to get on that 6, he would need to finish somewhere like there so he could get around and out for the 7. It's probably simpler to go across for the 6. And let's see if that's what he does. It looks like what he's doing. Just get over to that left-hand side of the table. Well, this, I think he might want to try and pinch this 6 into the right hand side of the pocket here so he can just find that gap. It would have been even better if he could have stunned onto the 10 ball, because now he's got a little thin cut, but there shouldn't be any problem getting onto the 8 though. Where's the cue ball going here? Oh. Well, it looks as if the 9 ball, if he's playing this with inside English, he can maybe still hold from the 9 ball into the right middle, but if he plays it a normal shot, he would run up the table for the 9 ball into the same pocket as the 8. Well, he played it with inside to hold it for in the middle, and now he's got another problem. Well, this is nasty. It's a nasty cut, and also the cue ball is running around 3 rails here, and possibly off 4 rails to get that 10 ball into this corner pocket here. How's his pace? He's gone to that no man's land position. This is a tester. And in it goes. So Larry goes into the lead, and that was against the break. So he now has the break in rack number 4. And the 4 ball has gone in. The 6 is hanging in the top right. The 7's more or less hanging in the bottom left. But he's got no shot in the 1. I think I'd be more inclined to play the push out here rather than actually doing anything to that 1 ball. If he nudges that 1 ball up the table, you know, that's okay. You'll settle for that one. If you bring that 1 ball any further up the table, Bedhead playing from the top end could play a billiard shot onto the 7, but he's taken that well out of the equation. And Bedhead is the first player that's actually called a kick shot and actually called a pocket in the matches we've seen so far. None of the other guys have done it. It's always wise to do it. And Bedhead there has played an excellent kick safe. Almost scratched, but he's got Larry in a wee bit of trouble here. Larry can see the edge of the 1 ball, but there's not an awful lot he can do with it. Good evening, welcome aboard. Right. He can only nudge that 1 ball towards the 10, the 8 and the 6. There's nothing else he can do here, from what I'm looking at. Now it looks as if he's trying to push it and go around the angles. He might have got that a bit thicker than he wanted. He's left it on. So it's a shot on for Bedhead. The problem, if there's going to be one, will be from the 6 to the 7. And maybe even from the 2 to the 3, because he's gone the wrong side of the 2. And the other problem now is, with the angle that he has, he's got to dig into this cue ball and stun it hard to avoid running into the 8 and the 10 ball. Yeah, he's almost got it right there. He got it pretty good for pace. And he's got a high enough angle here to just pot the 3 and get anywhere up in that top side there. When he comes off the rail, anywhere up to here, he'll have a simple enough shot in the 5. What game's this, Farpoint? I've never heard of that one. That's probably why I've never heard of it, if it's on the PS4. Oh, VR. Alright, well that's definitely never heard of it. Well, there's the result came in. And that match has been on for 2 hours, 2.5 hours almost, between Spin Master and Capsicum, and it's gone all the way to a final rack decider. And Spin Master has won out in the end by 14 racks to 13. And meanwhile, Bedhead has managed to nudge the 10 ball, but get that cue ball down for the shot on the 7. And he looks odds on to level this match. In fact, while he's doing that, what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the bracket and have a look and see how the match is going between Romario and Tommy Yu. Well, that's all square. It's at 4 racks all. And that match started at the same time as this one. Well, Bedhead just going a wee bit closer to the rail than he would really like here, but he shouldn't really have an issue. So these are like the early rounds in a boxing match. 2 players just sparring with one another. Nothing significant happened yet. So Larry now all square. Bedhead having broke off, gets the 3 ball in the break. A shot in the 1. And I'm fully expecting the run out here, provided, and I say provided, that Bedhead can get to that 5, because there is a problem ball blocked into the right corner pocket at the top end. But a gap between the 10 and the 8. So that's going to be the stumbling block on the possibility of the run out in this rack. And that, if it nudges into the 6, is about as good as he could expect. But he's now got a problem. He can only go forward, and he has to really force this 5 ball in, because he's going to run into the 8, and he needs to try and get a bounce off that top rail and get the cue ball up the table. And that will do. There was no guarantee he was going to get the right kick there off the rail and off that 8 ball, and that's worked out pretty well. Can't ask for any more than that. Now again, he wants high up the table here, just to make that 8 ball simpler and dropping onto the 9. So now Bedhead goes back into the lead. 3 racks to 2. And the break goes back to Larry for rack number 6. Two ball all around the table into the top left. Something dropped into the left middle. And that was the 7 ball. And Larry can really only call either the safety or the reverse bank into that top right hand corner pocket. I don't know whether he can thin cut that from that angle. No, he certainly can't do that. And he's calling the bank shot. And look at where the 3 ball is. Now, is he going to try and bank it and stun the 1? Yeah, he's going to try and stun the cue ball into the 3 and get a bit of movement. No joy in the bank, but he's got the second prize. Bedhead hooked on the 1. Simple enough to jump. And he can probably do this, you know, even if he leaves this 1 ball on, well, he's calling the bank the 1, but if he misses the 1 and leaves it on, it's still a tough ask for Larry to get the run out here where that 3 ball's sitting. So if it runs up to the 6, then I've got that little lag again. So it's gone safe, but Larry may well be enticed into playing the bank. He's actually got a better chance of getting a half decent shot in the 3 off this bank if he plays it, but he's decided not. And that's a good shot. And Larry going to spin it off that end rail. Probably try and get to that side rail just at the point where the 1 is. Called the combo in the 6. But he's got it safe. But he may well be in trouble in a minute or 2, because that 3, 8 and 4 ball are really inviting down in that bottom left hand corner of the table. And if Bedhead can get this cue ball tight. Oh no, he's went for it. He's went for the thin cut. But is he going to gain any advantage from it? Can he pot this 3 from there? I don't think he can get to that 3 without fouling the 8. And he's even going to struggle to get a safety in here. I don't know why he went for that cut in the 1. It looked a lot easier to play the safety and tuck Larry up behind that bunch of balls there. Now, is that a legal shot? Yes, it is. But everything's wide open now, so first mistake could be costly in the outcome of this rack. Yeah, that safety shot there behind that bunch of balls was far too inviting for me. That's a shot I would have played. And now Larry I think he's got no option here other than to go for the 3. Needs to watch the scratch off that 6 ball though. And he's avoided the 6. Now how's his luck? I don't think it's going to be very good, is it? Well, he can't get clean to the 5. The 4. No, what am I talking about? I'm forgetting about the 4 ball. Well, he's certainly not. He's not got a shot in the 4. Now, if he could, there is another safety here. If he can get the right weight on this shot with that 4 and just send it to there, send the cue ball down and use that 10 and 9 as cover. And that's worked out well. That will do. And the experienced 10 ball players, these two guys, although they don't play it an awful lot, they've played it a fair bit over the years, but they're doing the right thing. They're calling the ball in the pocket when they're kicking out, because you never know. You just might get lucky. Well, this is tough. As usual, I don't think Larry can resist having a go here. I think the other reason for this is it's not that easy to get that 4 safe and prevent Bedhead having a sight on it, so he's going to go all out for it, but he's way off the mark. Now, well, no prizes for guessing what's going to happen here. Out with the jump stick and pot the 4. Doesn't seem to be a great deal of problem in doing that. And it's missed the 6. Now, what's the angle like? Well, he might well dig down in the 5 just to leave a shot in the 6 into this corner. He could just run in and out for the 6 into that corner, so he has a choice here. He's going to just stun it. Well, this might be the significant rack early in the match here. Important from the fact that it's going to be the first time that a player has opened up a gap, provided Bedhead can see this through. This is... it's not a gimme. Played it well. Simple enough 10 ball. So this is going to be the 2 rack gap here for Bedhead, leading by 4 racks to 2. And also it's against the break. So the break now goes back to Bedhead in rack number 7. And he's come up dry. Now, while Larry's thinking about that, let's have a quick look and see what's happening here. Well, Romario and Tommy Yu are still all square. They're tied at 6 racks all in their first round match. Well, Larry's played the push out, and well, Bedhead is not under any real pressure here because he can roll the one ball in, and as long as he leaves the gap, he's got a shot in the two. Oh, it's just the weight of the ball pulled it into the pocket after that little nudge in the jaw. But it was a poor push out there by Larry. If the plan was to leave the one ball as bait, he left it on, but more importantly, he left it simple enough to roll it in, and Bedhead got on the two without any real problems. But immediately there, Bedhead's played his worst shot of the night. Tried to stun out to find the gap between the 4 ball and the 10 ball to get on that 3, and he's way short of power. So now it's the old kick and hope. Well, I think he'll be more than satisfied with that. Once again, Larry has an opportunity. If he can get the English on this and use the spin, well, I think he needed a bit more than that. He needed, I think my idea would have been to hit that ball there, get enough spin on it and pace to run off there and across, and try and get that cue ball up there. With these type of shots, the difficulty is getting it thin enough and not getting too much pace onto that 3 ball. You're trying to get distance and you're trying not to promote the 3 ball here. And that's how thin you have to get it to get a half decent safety, and that is not bad at all. And the problem now is the 4 is pretty much on the rail. Sorry, the 3 is on the rail. And that was the problem, is judging to get that really thin. And so Larry's last couple of shots are loose, and it might well cost him another rack here. Well, if he wants to play this a normal shot, he would pot the 6 and come across to the left hand side of the 7 because of the angle that he's got on this 6 ball. If he babies it in, well, he's played it pretty well. A little bit of help and spin there has got him closer to the 7. Big gap between the 9 and the 10. He could go that way and just come up. Well, he's chosen to leave it a drop into the middle pocket. He's going to be okay. Plenty of room. So it's now the significant move here has come from Bedhead, but it's really come from those errors by Larry. And it's now going to be a 3 rack gap. And the break Goes back to Larry, and he needs a ball in the break. He needs to get a response in here quite quickly. Well, 6 ball, thought about it, and this table is looking pretty favourable here for Bedhead. The break is dry. Simple starter for him on the 1 ball. And you would think as long as he can see that 2 ball, he can at least do something with it to somehow nudge it onto the 6 and play the combo. That would be the sort of last resort if he can't get a decent sight in the 2. And that's a well played shot. If he'd nudged that 2 there, it would have all went wrong, but he's dead on for the middle pocket. Is he running into the 10? No, he isn't. Well, a reminder to anybody that's maybe new, I don't know whether there is anybody new watching this, there probably isn't. Bedhead from Sweden, Larry from the USA. I think it would be safe to say there'll be not that many people from the Bahamas watching this. Their internet will be floating out in the ocean with that hurricane that's blowing them away. So now the cue ball is running. A little bit of spin round, and well, this is where the 6 ball acts as a lifeline. He's not got anything to do other than just to roll this 5 ball dead weight to the 6 and leave that 5 ball over the pocket. Well, he's hooked himself, but let's have a look. Well, this is a wee bit nastier than it actually looked at first. You're just trying to clip the edge. Well, the worst possible thing has happened with that break for Larry there. He came up dry, left Bedhead an easy shot on the 1 ball for a starter, and it's the run out, and the gap is now gone to 4. Tommy Sheridan's he's a Scottish guy that was in jail, wasn't he? What was he blurting about? So Bedhead has broke off in rack number 9. That break has come up dry. And Larry, he has a half shot on this 1. There's nothing easy here on this 1 ball. Yeah, it's a difficult shot. But once again, he hasn't been lucky. It's left on for Bedhead. Let's have a quick look. And we can see that Romario and Tommy Yu are still all square. It's gone to 7 racks all in that match. Well, so far Larry's had a couple of errors, and what he has had has been bits and pieces. That opening 1 ball that he had was not an easy shot. The pressure's starting to mount, trailing by 4. And of course, when you're struggling to get a decent shot in a run out, when you miss the 1 ball, you go and leave it on, and your opponent's back at the table straight away with what looks like another run out. Well, I'll take that. That's not bad. Just a little gentle roll down. Oh, it's going to use the pocket. That was threatening to escape there, but just went in off the knuckle. And dead straight would be ideal on the 9, just to roll it in. So now the alarm bells are definitely ringing here. Bedhead is definitely threatening to just run away with this match if Larry doesn't get a wee bit more good fortune. And now it's 7 racks to 2. Larry breaking off in rack number 10. And once again, the break is dry. Well, this time it's not quite so simple. He has got a sight in the 1. He can drop it in dead weight. It's the only option he's probably got. The cue ball's going to run up there, and he's still going to leave a very thin cut in the 2. But he's not interested. He's looking to use the 9 as a blocker, and that is a mistake. So now Larry has a chance. Oh dear, that isn't a good sign. And even if he had potted that 1 ball, look at what he'd left himself in the 2. And he might well be buried behind the 9 here again. No, Bedhead is going all out for it. And that has given Larry an easier start second time around. And, well, when you've got a lead, it's not a case of going negative. It's a case of keeping things tight. He had an opportunity to lock Larry up behind that 9 ball again. Decided to go all out for the 1. And he's given Larry this second chance. And really this time Larry has to do something to try and get himself back into this match. And here's the problem ball coming up after this 3. Can he get himself good on the 4? It looks like he has a choice. He could try and go down that left hand side between the 8 and the 7 ball and leave the 4 into the right middle, or he could go forward with inside English and try and come down the right hand side between the 7 and the 9 and get on that 4 into the top left hand corner. So he has 2 choices and 2 ways of getting there, and he's gone for the first option, and that's worked out pretty good. And now with the angle he has, he needs to stun that in and maybe draw that way for the 5. If he takes the risk of going forward and running into the 7, he could leave himself high and dry, but he's got it the right way, the little stun, and now he has to back himself all the way here. And like I said there, Bedhead doesn't want to get too extravagant here. You want to be able to defend a lead, and you don't want to be just giving your opponent a second bite at the cherry when he had a good chance to have Larry in more trouble. Went for the aggressive option, but he's still yet to be made to pay for it. And that's gone far too far. And now Larry's left with a cut in the 7 and got to watch the pace in the cue ball. And he's played that well. Still not out of the woods. Got to get good on that 9, which is just off the rail. Oh dear. Oh, that was almost a disaster. But he tried his best there to get out of shape, held it together, and he's got his reward. And he has made Bedhead pay for that. And Larry's got himself another rack and he's back to within 4. But the break goes back to Bedhead. And Bedhead's break is dry, and Larry could play the push out. He could go all out for the jump and the pot in the 1 and ride his luck for a shot in the 2. And it looks like it. I'll have a quick drink. Well, that will do. He's missed a 1, but it's rattled and rolled safe. So, Larry is getting his reward. Well, this is the Virtual Pool World 10 Ball Championships you're watching. This is Virtual Pool 4 Online. It's a free download to play the online game from the Solaris website. Well, if somebody could write www.solaris.com for the chat, in the chat, and if you type that into Google, in fact, if you just go to Google and type in Virtual Pool 4, that will take you to the website. It allows you to download the game and install it and play as a gratis player. You will have a limited play in the one room, and it costs you $10 a year to get the full game online, and that allows you to get all the rooms, all the tables. So Larry has got his chance again. Can he capitalise on it? And that was a tough shot to get that pot and get back up to the 5. And I think he's left this 4 ball on with a decent angle for Bedhead to get back up the table. And I think he's judged that fairly well. Now, I don't know, but it doesn't... I don't know whether he can find a gap. Well, he's used the 10 ball, and he's going to have to call the combo, and he's going to have to make it. He's going to have to cut the 6 that way. Oh, sorry, not that way. He's going to have to cut the 6 that way to get that 6 to go that way to cut the 10. So he's looked at the gap, and now he's just trying to judge the cut point on the 6 ball. And it's got it perfect. So Larry had a chance there to get another rack, and it's gone. And the gap is back to 5. And really now Larry needs a ball on the break and a chance to run out, and he's got nothing. And he's left nothing here for Bedhead but the push out. And Larry looking to cut the 1 to the 9 and just bring that cue ball back over behind the 3 and the 8. Well, he's not. Maybe the shot wasn't on, but he's still got the 1 on a safe position in the rail, but it's not left Bedhead under any great pressure. He can thin cut the 1, bank it back towards the 8 and get the cue ball up the table. And Larry's, well, this is not easy to get safe. And he's tried to get cover behind the 3. I think he's done okay. Take that any day of the week. And Bedhead may well call the, well, he's called the 1 and the 10 as a combo. There's fairly slim odds of this going in. He might even rethink. He's looking to kick the 1 and use that 9 ball to magnify the size of the pocket and help that 1 ball in if he gets it right. And he's missed the 1 completely, so Larry once again is coming to the table with ball in hand. All the balls are there and he basically knows he has to run it. We've got a 1 minute shot clock and a 1 minute extension, so he's got plenty of time just to gather his thoughts and think about what he's doing here. And the first decision is whether he leaves the 3-9 combo. That would be the simplest thing to do. Well, he's decided to play the 1 in off the 9 to open the pocket. That was probably the wiser move. And now must leave the decent angle on the 3. How does that look? Well, he's got the angle, but if he just stunned it straight, he would run into the 9. Got to try and squeeze past that 9 ball. And I think that's why he's missed the 3, because he had that in mind, trying to use a spin off the rail to get to the 4. Because the 9 ball was partially in the way for the straightforward shot to stun right up the table for the 4. And unfortunately for Larry, he's again, well, maybe not. No, that's okay. He can't get to the potting angle on the 3. He could have spun round the 7 if he was brave enough. But he's looking to just play the safety. Well, with the way the balls are here, I think that if Larry's going to get himself off and running and get back into the match, he really has to win this rack. But he's not going to do it from there. Maybe a bit of good running, but it's got Larry in heaps of trouble. And Larry can call the kick and call a pocket. But really it's just a hit and hope. Just hope you get lucky and get it safe. But he's called the 3 into the left middle pocket. And he's missed the 3 completely. And now Bedhead has his chance with ball in hand. Well, so far you can say Larry's not had many breaks, but he's also made that odd error and missed those shots, and it is costing him now. So the match has been on for just over an hour and 10, and Bedhead looks odds on to run out here. Let's have a quick look at the scores. Well, we can see Romario has now opened up a gap. He's now leading Tommy Yu by 12 racks to 9, and he's only 2 away from round 2. And a possible match with Mr. Bill or Wanwa in round 2. Once again, Bedhead's got himself the high angle in the 8. He's certainly going to be coming down the table, no problem, to get on that 9. So this 10 ball for 9-3. And the gap is just getting wider and wider. And Larry's running out of racks here. Bedhead within 5 of round 2. And Larry now has the mountain to climb. And Bedhead has come up dry. Now let's see if Larry can do anything in this rack. The problem ball is going to be the 3. We can see it goes. And like I always say, it's fine that the 3 goes, but you have to get there. You have to get to that 3. And that's easier said than done. And now Larry is going to come off that short rail here at the bottom of the table, past the 5. And he's gone far enough that he can cut the 3 and get back across the table for that 4 into the top right. So the worst shot he would play here would be finish short and block himself off behind the 9. Needs to get right over the table. Not too far though. Not too far. Well, now it's running. No problem with cutting it in, but the cue ball's running and he has to miss everything to get behind that 5, more than likely into the same pocket here. It needs to keep going and avoid the 6. And that will do. And now the other issue is that the 6 doesn't go past the 7. So he's got work to do with this cue ball. That 6 definitely isn't going. That's far too tight. And Larry, well, I think he was content to leave the combo, but digging down in the cue ball with that stun shot, and he sent that 5 into the jaws. We see it time and time again. You play pace on these tables with these settings and you hit the jaws, they're just going to rattle and hang. Well, Bedhead, I was talking about this shot last night, about how these are the toughest shots to play when the ball's in the pocket. And Bedhead's just trying to use the spin to get out. That was a lot easier than playing a straight in shot where all you can do is draw it back. But that was another chance with ball in hand for Larry. I think it was ball in hand, was it? Or was it just a dry break and open tee? I can't remember now. I don't think it really matters. His chance is gone. So, a little bit of follow off the top cushion, side cushion, and out for the 10. And so Bedhead is going to get himself to double figures, and he's only within 4 of victory. Well, it's dry again for Larry. He's getting absolutely no joy. And once again, though, it's the worst possible outcome. He's left Bedhead on the 1 ball, and a chance to either go forward or back, and he's just going to draw back. And if he can get to that 3 ball, this rack's over. And he's shot with a stun. He's left it, excuse me, he's left it tough. Trying to hold it to leave a sight in the 4. He managed to do that, but he's hung up the 3, so it's another chance for Larry. Well, it's simple enough with these 3 balls. Just make sure he gets himself off the rail with this shot here. He doesn't want to be nailed to that cushion. He just wants to get the cue ball out. Good evening. Well, stun the 1 into the 9 in, off the rail and out for the 10. So Larry eventually has got another rack in the board, but there's no real sign unless he starts getting a bit of luck, especially on his own break, which he's had nothing. Unless he gets a break of the ball here or there, he's just running out of racks to actually have any great response and find a way back into this match. It does not look like it. But this time it's Bedhead with the dry break. 1 ball is now in the open for Larry, so he's got a chance. And needless to say, this is another chance that he simply has to put away. He can't afford any mistakes. Now, ideally, if he was straight in that 3, that would be fine, because he can then just draw straight back out for the 4. Let's have a look and see what he's got. He needs to get back off this too, and well, he's gone way too far, because now the cue ball's running. Ideally, he wanted to be sort of there, because that just made it simple to draw off the 3 and have the 4 into the same pocket. Now he's got that angle, he's running up the table, unless he decides to risk the 4-10 combo. Now, he's not even looked at it, he's trying to get top side, and he's still got a problem to deal with here, because once again, he's got too much angle in the 4 to make it simple to get on the 5. He might have to leave it long. And this is the one that's going to make or break him in this rack. And he can't avoid hitting that 6, I don't think. Needs a bit of luck here. Oh, where's the cue ball going? Oh dear. Well, it's going from bad to worse. No way he could avoid hitting the 6. Try to just skim off it to leave it on into the same pocket as the 5 ball. And it's again the worst possible outcome. The chance is gone. And Bedhead with ball in hand has no excuse. Well, Larry's chances in the match have been few and far between, and in all honesty, when he has had them, he hasn't really taken them all. He's had no luck in the break. When the break's been dry, most of the time Bedhead's had a shot and run out. And he's just made one or two more errors than is required, which is all down to why he's 10-4 down and about to go 11-4 down. And we'll have a quick look at the bracket as the 10 ball goes in, and we'll see that, well, we've got an interesting match with Romario and Tommy Yu. Romario had a 3-rack lead there. He's now on the hill, leading 13-12. And Tommy Yu fighting to take it all the way. And meanwhile, wouldn't you know it, Larry's broke off in rack number 16. He's come up dry, and Bedhead has a shot in the 1 again. And the only lifeline that Larry has in this rack is that the 4 ball's locked up by the 6. In which case, right now, Bedhead is going to take the chance to break out the 4 and still have a shot in the 3. He'd be very, very unlucky if he didn't have any sight on this 3 ball. So now would be the time to break out the 4. And I think he's got that wrong, because I seriously think he tried to just nudge that 4. And he's missed it. But he's going to have a chance off this 3 as well if he wants to risk it. Can draw back across, and didn't get into it enough. And so Larry still has a lifeline in this rack. And Bedhead calling the bank. And in it goes. Sweet as a nut. And Bedhead can draw straight back and have an open shot in the 6 ball. It's looking very likely that Larry is going to have to do his business on the one-loss side, because it's a really tall order for this match to change overnight in the next couple of racks. Well, I like to go forward and around behind the 10. Little bit of top right. And Bedhead's played it dead weight. I just like to get around the angles. But no matter how it's done, it's 12-4 to Bedhead. And just needing 2 more. Bedhead breaking off. And, well, this rack's going to be over fairly quickly. 2 ball went down in a break and a 110 combo. How's your luck, Bedhead? Well, Larry's probably banging his head off the table right now, thinking, what? Well, that's the missed combo of the night. I think Bedhead was salivating at that shot, and he's missed it. Well, there's a break for Larry, and meanwhile, while that's going on, we've got a final rack decider which will just jump in with Romario and Tommy Yu and just see how things shape up here. And Romario has his chance. And he's left it short. Is it going to get there? Well, it's almost there. So this match has gone all the way. Tommy Yu fighting and battling back to get it to the final rack decider. And Romario has won out by 14 racks to 13. And we'll jump back into the Larry Bedhead match. And we'll have a look at the bracket after this match is over. And we'll see how things are shaping. Meanwhile, Larry has got ball in hand, trailing by 12 racks to 4, and looking for the proverbial miracle to dig himself out of this hole. Because Larry is well and truly up the proverbial shit creek. And not only without a paddle, but he hasn't got a life jacket on either. He's sinking fast. Now, what's that up at the top there? We've got a 5-9 combo. That's not a problem. That's fairly simple enough to take care of. But the 7 ball is the one that is an issue, because that's very tight into the middle. And Larry trying to nudge. Oh, how unlucky can you be? He's hit that far too full in the face. And it's now the kick bank combo on the 5 and 9 to really pinch this rack. And there's the other outcome. He gets the kick bank. He combos the 9. And where does the cue ball go? Straight in after the 9. Well, there's your luck, Larry. Absolutely nothing. Not a thing. took the risk in breaking out the 7, and you could never expect that cue ball just to hit it full in the face, lock himself up, dig himself out the hole, get a combo, and getting no luck at all again, and following the 9 ball into the pocket. And it's an easy out again for Bedhead. Well, it'd be safe to say, and fair enough to say, that Larry's had all the luck in this match. Bedhead's had one bit of luck where he hooked Larry, and Larry's had all the rest of the luck, and it's all been bad. There's been nothing good for him. Not a thing. So it's now 13-4 to Bedhead. Bedhead sitting on the hill. Larry's broke off. No joy as usual. And a possible 1 to the 6 billiard if he wants it. But he's probably just going to try and hide the cue ball. Of course, playing the 1-6 billiard, the 1 ball's going nowhere, so no point in playing that. The best thing to do is just to stick your opponent in more trouble, which he has done. Larry calls the 6. Gets the combo. And now he's got half a shot in the 1. But much easier to play the safety. Get the thin cut. Get the cue ball up. Buy the 8 ball. And hopefully, for his sake, he gets the cover. And he has done. Bedhead. Well, I don't know whether he can make the angle off that rail to get to the 1. He's gonna have to spin that right hand English just past the diamond to get the kick off the rail with the English to get to the 1. And he's just clipped to 7. So Larry's got a reward. He's got ball in hand, and he's still got problems. Now, does he risk going for 3 fills, or is he going to leave the thin cut in the 2? It looks as if he's going to run across past the 9, and I don't think he's got there either. Well, Larry is just not getting that cue ball to move, and now he's going to have to jump out of trouble. And the cue ball, I'll say that again, perilously close to scratching. And that's, I think, too far to cut in at that angle. That's going to the point on the jaw. So calls the safety. Well, Bedhead isn't going to be enticed into taking any risk at this stage. And he has Larry in trouble again. And he's going to look to, I don't know whether he can make enough of that to spin around that and kick that 3 ball. He's going to have to play the little swerve. You can't play it fast, you have to let the cue ball spin. and he's made a good effort at it. Really tough. But I think Larry may well have just played his last shot. Probably just kill the cue ball. That'd be one option. Play the 5 past the 9. Is he going to run? He's stunning out. That'll do it. He's got there. And it's just the formalities now. These last 3 balls. And so Bedhead is taking care of business, and he wins the match by 14 racks to 4, and that is a sore one. So now that match is over and the other match result has come in, that final rack with Romario and Tommy Yu. We'll have a quick look at the bracket, and we will see that Bedhead is now waiting on the winner of the Marcellus Vinces match, which is tomorrow morning my time at 6 AM for his next opponent. We've got Semi-Pro against Snake Eyes, which should be a good match, and Romario is waiting on the winner of Bill and Wanwa. And further down the bracket we've got Real Poland Power Stub going to be playing my fellow countryman Senny, and that is in a couple of days' time at 11 PM at night. Now this is what, Tuesday, this is Monday the 2nd, Tuesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 4th. I'll be able to actually stream that one because I'll be off work for a couple of days, so I'll be able to have that one late at night if I can keep my eyes open. We've got VP Monster in round 2. He's waiting from the result with these 2 players, CTP and whatever the name that is, Gada Jaka Gloa. Never heard of him. And we also have the match that was played earlier tonight, the final rack decider as well. Spin Master, the winner in that match, and he's going to be playing Acero from Japan, who's a half decent enough player. And I say, I've never seen Spin Master, so I don't know what level he plays at. And of course the one lost side has got a lot of shaping up to take. So with that, folks, we will say thank you for your company. For anybody who's still here, probably most folk have gone, and we will see you again very soon.